Good afternoon. We're gonna present about the company Apple. Our team is Marisa, Eric, Michelle, Valerie, and me, Pablo. Well, first of all, let's start with this history of Apple. It all started when Steve Jobs met this guy who was Steve Wozniak. He was his friend, and he came up with the idea of doing a CPU that can show you in a digital device what you are programming. So when Steve Jobs saw that, he saw an opportunity because he saw that, well, in that time the computers were like new stuff and people was keeping like knowing what you can do with a computer. And when Steve Jobs saw that, he saw the possibility that the computer can be used by any person, and that's how the idea of the personal computer was born. So they started by doing the Apple One, who is this device. This is the CPU, and they connected to the television and a keyboard. They first showed this product to many shops and many tech conventions in different universities. They didn't have much luck, but they sold locally this Apple One. And lately, they met this guy, the guy in the middle, who is Mike Markula. He saw the product, he saw the future in the product, he invested in the product, and they did the Apple II, who was a very big success. Because at the time, the biggest company of computers was IBM, and they wasn't doing anything about personal computers, so they have like all the market share. And also this guy, Mike Markula, was the guy who invented like the way they will do commercials in the future. That is, they usually, when they give a new product, they do 3 commercials in different time lapse of the life of the product. The introduction, the specs, and the narrative. The introduction commercial is about pump up music and make hype about this new product. The specs, it's about making feel the customer they need the product, that they feel the product they already have feel old. And the narrative is telling a story when the device is the protagonist and make all the feelings and emotions and empathy. And this come in different parts of the life cycle. And the last one is distancing, and it's important because you rid off all the publicity of the last product so you can make space for the next product. Another thing they do for the marketing is that they keep doing they sell in their own stores. They like their own sanctuary of the product. And well, I'm going to talk about 3 principles of Apple that I think is important for the marketing. The first of all is that technology should be transparent as possible. And what I mean by that is that they see technology as an enemy, as a way of confusion. They want you to feel like the product is an extension of your body. And that's why they do the products more thin, more light, and minimalistic. And they also want to get rid of ports, bezels, and buttons. The other thing they do is extreme focus. Apple is a very big company. They could sell anything, but they want to make a few products, a very high quality products, so they can focus in just few products. At the time when Steve Jobs came back, it was just 4 products, like 1 computer for a different person. And normally other companies, when they have like a very good idea, they will milk it all the way, but Apple don't do that. They don't feel like if it's a good idea, it's enough to make it. It needs to be like a huge idea. And they think like all the devices they do, they fit in the same category. So category, sorry. So what they're doing is like when they do it was first the desktop, then the laptop, and the laptop is like killing the desktop, and then the phone came so it's more convenient than the laptop, and then the watch. So they are killing their own products. They're not waiting to other companies to kill the products. And the last one is that they think that the consumer don't know what they want, and they don't listen to the consumer all the time. That's important because a consumer can tell you what is the next big thing. And if you always listen to the customer, you are losing the opportunity to come with the next big thing. And they do this even if it's have like difficulties, like when they get rid of the headphone jack, like people get angry, but it's part of what they think is the future.
Apple break into the market with a Macintosh 128K. This product marked the beginning of the all-in-one design in Apple's philosophy. This computer was very important because in that time the computers had generally a lot of cables, and with this the cables were needed just for the mouse, the keyboard, and the current. Also, this computer was easier to use in comparison with the other computers in the market, and it was the first computer with graphical interface. Also, the pricing was affordable, and the people were very attracted by it.
Okay, the channels of distribution of Apple is very simple. Apple works with an indirect channel of distribution, selling products or transporting products to the retailers, and the retailers can be Amazon, AT&T, Telcel, Best Buy, in which you can go and buy the products, however, there is a indirect channel of distribution that is directly buying the product directly from the Apple web page. In this case, in this image, is in the cart in apple.com in the United States page, in which you can buy the iPhone or the tablet, or the iPad or the Mac, and directly from the Apple distribution or host stores, they send it to you. You don't need to go to another retailer or another party to buy the phone.
The competitive features of Apple is that they are very innovative in the ways they recycle the components of the smartphones. Also, in these three models, the displays are bigger than ever. It has the most powerful chip in a smartphone. Also, the screens are Retina screens, and it has a dual camera with a depth control system. It is very attractive for people to look in at the phone and see all the image in the screen, not like you have buttons and all. These are the three iPhones that we are presenting, and there are three colors or six depending on the model. The price ladder, and we choose to put the 64 gigabytes, the 256 gigabytes, and the 512 to show you all the prices in the market now.
Okay, talking about the off-market and markdown and markup, the iPhone XS Max for Apple costs 9,025 pesos for production. It means that the iPhone XS Max actually in the market costs 26,000. That means that Apple is gaining 33% profit. That means 17,977. And the markdown, we cannot look for right now the markdown because the iPhone is very new, and It's the price that is right there is the initial price. So taking the iPhone X or iPhone 10 example, Apple put a markup of 14% of its selling price. That means that from the original price that iPhone X was released of 23,499 pesos, and now it's 20,000. That means that has a margin of 153 pesos, which means it's like 15%.
And here, for example, the Apple Care is a plus that you can add to your phone, and it costs 5,299. Here in Mexico, in the United States, there are two types of Apple Care, depending if you want more years of protection. And as you can see, the iPhone that has the bigger price is the iPhone XS Max with 512 gigabytes.
Talking about the life cycle of the product, the iPhone XS, XS Max, and XR is right now in the middle of the introduction part and the growth part, because these iPhones was released in late September. So as you can see, the sales were low. They were only innovators buying these products, and which means that it's a high cost for the customer. The profits initially are negative, and the competitors are few. You can see that Samsung released their products like a couple of months later, and it's right now in the growth part because it's rapidly raising. The sales are increasing, and they focus on persuasion. That later on we are going to talk about that, and they focus on raise awareness with the customers. The maturity stage is where the product reaches its highest sales and they focus on maintaining that maturity stage. And that means that the life cycle of this product is a boom or a classic life cycle, because it stays in the maturity stage, and when they see that a product is going to decline, they anticipate that movement, and that's when they release new products, new models, until they know there's a time that you need to update and change everything.
And we choose these three models of the iPhone because they are the newest of all, and we think that is better to study them now that they are in between the introduction and the growth.
I'm going to talk the Apple experience. Apple, it wasn't ever the first to come up with the technology like iPods and MP3s, but they are the ones that sell the most. Also, they have the ability to sell a lot of different products. Like, you don't buy an MP3 from a computer store, but Apple has managed to do that. That's because they don't sell a product, they sell an experience. And how do they do that? They took the golden circle, and unlike other companies, they started from the inside out. So they communicate from the inside out. They developed a core belief where they saw what they believed, and they created a cult of followers that later on turned into their most loyal customers. They managed this by they managed to develop every stage of the circle by applying a series of persuading strategies. In the first one, they are committed and constant. Like, every product of Apple is very similar, and they have very strict strict branding practices, and they have created a very sophisticated and a product that is set apart from the other ones. And they create like this kind of inner circle where Apple has their own benefits. Like if you have an iPhone, you can FaceTime with another iPhone user, but you cannot FaceTime with a Samsung user. So that sort of creates a community, and people want to be part of that community. They reach to the early adopters, and they do this through scarcity. What does this mean? It means like when launching a product, they just store with a limited amount of products. So this creates long lines and a very high expectation. So this sort of creates free publicity for them, and they make iPhone seem like this very special and unique thing. They also, they are different, but they also take in the customer's needs. They are very active listeners, and they want to appeal to their customers. So they do this through physical attractiveness. iPhone is very aesthetic, and it's prettier than other technologies. They also use a lot similarity, and this is very important to the people they try to appeal to. Like they are always looking for creative people, like architects, designers. So here is an example. Like they present Mac like a young person, an innovator, and the other PCs, they try to make them look like very strict and very formal. And that's what Apple is trying to get out of, like the
Stereotypes.
yeah, the stereotypes that technology has to be serious. They try to make it fun and appealing. And they also do collaborations and associations. Like this year, they signed a $1 billion deal with Oprah Winfrey. And like Oprah is a very recognized person, and I think this is very noticeable, but Oprah appeals more to older people. So even though Apple target market are the early adopters, I think they're trying to expand their business towards older people. And they can do that because their technology is very easy to use and understand. And that's the other step, make it easy for people to change. Apple has a lot of sources that make it easy for you to start using their products. Like they have the Apple Geniuses. They are well-trained employees that can deal with any type of issues you may encounter when purchasing an iPhone or using an iPhone. So that creates a sense of they create a sense of security, you know, like you can rely on them to help you. And they have the social proof, like in their page you can comment and you can leave your experience with iPhone and what you believe in of iPhone. So, well, people can see what iPhone truly is from another person's experience. And finally, I have the forecasting, an evolutionary process. iPhone is always on top of the innovation, and they do this by not only being very strict, but they have understand that it's a process, a creative process, and you have to be responsive to change and demand as well. But they not only think about what customers really want, they also think outside that box. So that gives them a very wide space. And accuracy, therefore, is a product of process of flexibility, responsiveness, and communication.
And some of the features that describe a good negotiator at Apple are, first one, engage with partners, which is the most like teamwork. The second one is having a strong attention to detail, and this is essential to Apple because their products always have like little things that make like make you feel and want the product. And the third one is solve problems, have persistence in high pressure environment. And the last one is have like good rapport and the ability to retain a customer. And well, Steve Jobs was like the big leader of Apple, and regarding motivation, it was very important for him. Like a characteristic feature of him was to make the best of someone. So they will make something, and they will make it better. And well, at Apple, like the employees are divided into types, which is Apple Campus and Apple Store. Both are management by objectives. They have a task, and with that task they have to they are structured by that. And one Apple Campus is the one in charge of development, and the Apple Store is a direct distribution. And Apple makes this because they want to have the control of all their products, how the person experience like the iPhone or the iPad. And well, like some example of the needs that Apple take care of their employees are having like cafeterias on all their campuses, and they provide benefits to all of their employees. They have safe working environments, and they always use recycled materials with their products. They have an autocratic leadership, and also something very important is the diversity and inclusion of every single employee. And well, the motivation are divided in two, and the first one is intrinsic, and is that Apple always makes sure that the employees are part of the process, and they are inspired by developing new products and make them feel like the best one. And the last one is the extrinsic motivation, and some examples can be that employees have like some bonuses or benefits of having like free iPods or iPhones, and even getting discounts on some of their products. And lastly, they have the recognition of giving like 3% of their salary, like a bonus, even though if they don't achieve the target task.
I'm going to finish with something, and if you can see, Apple is very recognized because of their designs, and if you watch their commercials, they are so attractive that makes you want to buy an iPhone. But nowadays, if you watch TV or if you watch the publicity of their competitors in the social media, you can see that the designs their competitors are making are very similar to the new iPhone, like the XS Max, the XR. For example, the Enterprise Huawei have a smartphone model that is like the iPhone X. If you see the phone, you can find similarities in the way the camera is located, the colors are similar, and that's very interesting because their competitors are recognizing that Apple have a very successful way to design their models in the way they can reach the attention of their clients.
Thank you.